Okay, so can I start? So hello to everybody. So my name is Luigi Liquori, and I will talk about normalization and standardization of smart contract and electronic ledger. So first of all, I am a researcher at the French National Institute for Research in Digital Science and Technology. But in short, my research topics are semantic of a programming language, logic, type theory, and peer-to-peer networks. I also work for standardization organization like ETSI and ISO, and I contribute to the standardization of smart contract domain-specific languages and of electronic ledger, of course, following EU concerned normative. So, first of all, because it does not happen very often that one breaks his nose at the conference the day before, so I have to say thank you to all the hospital, the Antibes. They did a very super great job. If I am here with you is also thanks to all these nice people. So, okay, as the title say, I am here to talk about EU normalization and standardization of smart contract and electronic ledger. So there is a genuine skepticism in Brussels on electronic ledger. So you can read the DLT, distributed ledger technology, or blockchain if you want, or smart contract, all around smart contract. In generally, on everything is decentralized, and in particular on everything is not traceable. So this skepticism is due to fear, sometimes and definitively for lack of communication on each other. At all the level of the chain, language specification, compiler, virtual machine, etc. We have to say that in Brussels they love to centralize, they love to track and trace. So this is what we feel. And if you are interested to this topic, so there are two must-have EU regulation. One is called Data Act, and the second one is called EIDAS, EIDAS. Okay, this is for the bureaucracy. For the bureaucracy, this is regulation, blah, blah, blah. The first one, the Data Act, is on fair access to and use of data, while EIDAS 2, which is an amendment of a previous regulation, establishing the European Digital Identity Framework. Other pertinent regulations are MiCA, of course, and GDPR. So, for people that read approach for the first time to those regulations, they are very, very, very boring for normal people. For computer scientists, they are extremely boring. For blockchain and smart contract enthusiasts, they are super mega boring. But there are semi-boring and maybe interesting for a mathematician or lawyer, because in fine, laws are written in plain English using deontic logic, which is a kind of modal logic, a branch of philosophy. And this kind of document can or could be formalized and semi-automatically checked in a description computer language. Okay, so just to show the fluidity of the law language, let me just show to unzip the definition of smart contract and electronic ledger. So the first one is smart contract, which is essentially a computer program, so very, very generic, a computer program used for automatic execution of an agreement, using a sequence of electronic data record. So it's very, very, very fluid. As a suggestive comparison, you can think in programming language as a massive use of class-based style, polymorphism, and genericity. So for the ledger, the law says that the ledger can be distributed, but also can be centralized. So many actors are also missed. Computer program, source code, object code. What about compilers? What about the virtual machine? Why they also add the word centralized? They don't write explicitly blockchain. So it seems quite difficult to do business at this level of abstraction, and being so technologically agnostic, the risk of this kind of regulation are to be useless. So it's not a critic, but so what is to be done? These are the burning questions for the crypto movement, and those questions arise naturally. So the answer is that if you cannot defeat your enemy, have him as your friend. For example, 2 days ago, the main talk by the inventor of Ethereum is that the right thing is to participate to standardization organization. In other words, they say to accomplish formal property, technology is at the service of property we want to achieve. So, of course, if you want to interpret this in ChatGPT, the inventor of Ethereum say, let's try to participate to standardization activities. Of course, this one is a joke, but I think that indeed we have to play the game of accomplish formal property and use technology at the service of properties we want to achieve. So at this point, I found that during this conference, the only talk addressing the issue was the one of the lady Madame Catherine Kirkpatrick by Starkware, that only addressed one slide concerning regulation. Standardization organizations are, for example, like ETSI, ISO, CAN, or ETU, build standards which are document, protocol, technology. They don't build code. Code is not part of standardization business. Explaining and producing a recommendation on a given topic on the basis of a precise request of the European Commission. So all the standardization organizations try to be in sync each other. This is not systematic, but at least they try. EU politicians can receive or not those standards and will produce law, norms, and regulation. So the standardization organizations are mainly involved in studying electronic ledger and smart contract. So I think that this community should enter into this kind of standard in this organization, because if I have a quick look on the sponsor side, so nobody participates. So unless maybe one, no, I think I have a quick check, so nobody participated. Of course, I did not check the speaker, and I think this is not the way to enter into this kind of business. So just to give you an example, this one is a technical report that will appear in the forthcoming months, and I am the editor of this document with other colleagues. And more precisely, is a collection of report and specification concerning smart contract and electronic ledger. There are other two documents that will follow following is the TR 542 and 541, which write more precisely the requirement for smart contract and electronic ledger. So just to give you a very quick review, so the bibliography of this document is quite exhaustive, and it took a lot of time to see how standardization organizations are involved or interested in this topic, and of course they do not enter into contact with the main actors which I have seen during this week. So which is a little bit strange to me. Also for the dictionary, so this document contains also a huge dictionary, which is the main one of the business of writing a standard is set up the dictionary to be used in the full text. So in this document we also are writing and finalizing an original chain of trust, of course tailored specifically to smart contract running on electronic ledger, which are identified in 3 phases, essentially production of a smart contract, deployment of a smart contract, and execution of a smart contract. All actors are fingered out by signature. All relations between actors are fingered out by signature, and all artifacts, essentially all the objects manipulated by actors, are fingered out by signature. So this chain of trust is then translated into suitable requirement in the document, allowing to track and trace responsibility in case of any problem. Problems means hardware, software, or network problems. So this is the basis for the normalization of the concept of a smart legal contract. So the smart legal contract, as you can let's take Solidity as an example. So this one is the hello world, the smart legal contract hello world, which contains the hello world message. And of course, in comment, you just write the legal terms are contained into a comment. Which is de facto the situation by now in Solidity. So, as you know, the smart legal code in Solidity will be then compiled by a assigned Solidity compiler. The Solidity specification language is defined by the foundation, but the specification language can change quite often, and the compiler can change quite often, which is not very good. Okay, this situation is not only for Solidity, also Python do not enter into standardization organization, but C, C++, Java, and JavaScript accepted to write language specification standard, let's say in a standard way. So at the point of when you compile, then you can have a different bytecode produced by the compiler. So using a different optimization. So which bytecode faithfully and semantically represented the original one, so the source code? Is there any equivalence between those two codes, the left and the right? By now we cannot embed the publisher signature, and so the chain of trust in some sense is broken. So when you compile, you produce some bytecode, and so the bytecode is embedded. The bytecode do not contain the legal specification. So we try it, but it is almost impossible to embed in the bytecode the comment. So the chain of trust is again broken. If you want to build some algorithmic logic, so you can then, as a senior software manager, you can design a super nice algorithm to be coded in Solidity and to be deployed in the Ethereum blockchain. This guy will probably use flowchart as a formal language, a little bit of mathematics, some formulas like pre and post condition, and the question is how to embed this in the program, in the object code. At the moment, the chain is broken. If we wanted to embed also the comment we have seen in the hello world, so the legal service can build this comment, can write this comment. The comment are in the legal text. The legal text is embedded in some comment, but sorry, the legal is embedded in the comment, and we need also signature to avoid to broke this chain of trust. So the signature, so the programmer that translate the algorithm into some runnable code also need another signature. So the alteration of the algorithmic logic can broke the chain of trust. So all of this essentially produce a kind of intermediate code, hopefully understandable by a legal office and the senior manager. So we need also another signature to put all together and sign the Solidity comment as official built-in legal text. Actually, you have also seen that legal text can be also represented as a web pointer that very often are broken. So this is something that a standardization of smart legal contract can take into account. Finally, the bytecode is deployed on the blockchain, and we need other signatures in order to ensure that the underlying and the overlay network will not introduce We will not introduce some error inside, so some noises in deploying the bytecode. And very finally, the bytecode is executed on the signed AVM, but since the AVMs change very often, these also need to check and to add other signatures. So long story short, we need a number of signatures to write and deploy and execute the smart legal contract, satisfying the chain of trust defined in our document as per the forthcoming 8-year technical report. So, without entering into the details of the chain of trust, we design artifact, some like language specification, compiler, teams like language specification team, compiler team. For each of these items, we have write a precise definition, policies, language specification policies, compiler policies, virtual machine policies, etc. And publishers, source language publisher, compiler publisher, virtual machine publisher, and etc. And also finally actor, the user, first of all, publisher, the publisher of the smart contract, the provider, and the deployer. And finally, very finally, we also write these, when entities, actor, artifact are set up, we are ready to specify the chain of trust as a number of links. Every line is a link, relation between the entities. Voila, so we have the production links, the deployment links, and the execution links. Voila, I think that if I have to resume this very quick and fast presentation of why this community should enter into standardization and normalization, I think that if you can really defeat your enemy, have him as your friend, and so try to read this normalization text by the European Commission. Try to read standardization text by standardization institutions like ETSI, ISO, CEN, and ETU. And try to participate to standardization organization or operation. So the participation is not, if you are not a European company, is not a problem. Also ETSI, for example, also have Google and Apple and Facebook in Amazon, so it's really not not a problem. So let's try to stay connected, and I think that I will be very happy to give all the information on about how to enter into this kind of new activity, at least. What I have seen that in this conference we always concentrate on technology and a little bit on properties, and the main inventor of Ethereum yesterday 2 days ago was very motivating to me to say that we have to concentrate on properties and technology, and use the technology, which is of course important. I am a technologist, I'm not a bureaucratic guy. Okay, thank you very much. But if somebody has some question, we'll be happy to answer. Did you know about this kind of document? No. So you see that I think that Circle should apply. I don't understand why Circle do not apply. Robinhood, the main sponsor of this conference, should apply and should participate. Why they do not participate? Why they accept that the European Commission will fix some rules, like Data Act, that set up the definition of smart contract and electronic ledger. They do not call blockchain, they call electronic ledger, which means that in a few years they will have the numeric, the electronic, the crypto euro, not distributed, but with a client server, all technology, and with a very difficult possibility to set up bridges with the Ethereum community. So it's a win-win operation. So maybe it is boring if you are a programmer, but if you are something that think about the future, maybe it's not.
Great talk. I'm just curious. All right, can you hear me?
Sì, sì.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the talk. I'm just curious to know if this standard that you were talking about, is it being considered, maybe you talked about that and I missed it, I came in a bit late. Is it something being talked about in like the EU? But what is it, or is it something you're working on personally?
The standard I've mentioned, Data Act is a law, is a European law. IDAS is a European law, so all the product have to respect those two laws. So it's not written by me. I'm just a reader of those documents.
Oh, okay.
And standardization are documents which are fed to European Commission, and the European Commission can decide to accept the standard or not. So the final word is politics. The previous one, the step 1 is standardization organization. And here we are in a setting where no standards are set up. The standard is not code, it's not baseline code. So standard is a boring English text. Boring, okay, let's say boring, but it's not boring at all. So it's an English text defining the semantic of a programming language solidity. So the semantic, not a baseline implementation, not a baseline implementation of the virtual machine, the Bangkok virtual machine, the Rome virtual machine, the Cannes virtual machine. So who wrote this? Are they faithful with respect to the specification of why the Ethereum Foundation do not participate to this business? Voilà.
Okay, so are you saying that these standards already exist?
Sì.
Yeah, even the one for smart contracts?
Sì, there is a plethora of documents in the bibliography, the scrolling slide I have showed. There is a lot of document, a lot of document, and none of those documents intersect with this community.
Okay,
it's incredible.
So you're saying that this community needs to start taking these things more seriously, participate in it.
Sì.
All right.
And if I am here, because also the vice versa is true. So nobody pays me from. I am a researcher. My business is to write scientific papers. I discover standardization, and at the beginning I say, "Oh my God, it's very boring." No, it's not boring at all, because you are just a step before the law, a step before Christine Lagarde. Let me just, and I finish, of course. I don't. Let me just. I know that I am out of the. But I think this. No, I think that I think I am happy with this. I am happy of this. So you really have to participate. It's okay. I am happy. So Christine Lagarde said that Bitcoin will never enter into the reserve of European Commission. Voilà. Bitcoin will never enter into the reserve of the European Commission. Come on.